Hi folks, this is Kellen Riley here, back with another Age of Empires 2 AI scripting video. And in this video, I've been developing an AI called Turtle Man, and I think we're playing against the moderate computer. Let me make sure. Yeah, difficulty moderate, okay. Turtle Man, random land map. Okay, let's get started. Just wanted to confirm that I was actually playing against the moderate AI. Looks like there's a bit of water on this map, so one thing I've noticed is that the AI likes to fish, so I am happy about that because us Age of Empires 2 players know that fishing is a great source of food. Got my coffee here, I just woke up, so I'll probably be a bit less animated in my commentary since it usually takes me a few hours to get the brain stem working. We are the Incas. The Incas is not a civ I am familiar with. I'm pretty much familiar with all the Conqueror civs, but I think the Incas was a part of Forgotten Empires or something like that. Anyways, it doesn't really change the strategy. Right now, my AI doesn't take into consideration what civilization it's playing. And in the future, one of the things I want to do is, let's write this down. One of the things I want to do is take into consideration opponents, civ, and player, civ, and map type to decide on strategy. Turtle Man blindly goes for a strategy every time. Turtle Man doesn't really react to what the opponent is doing, right? There's certain facts that I could check if we go to the AI ref. AI ref. Oop, I am not connected to the internet. Let's fix that. This is live commentary, folks. It's turn on my hotspot here. And make sure I am connected. Hidden network. There we go. Alright, so if we look at commands, there's stuff like building type count. Let's see. Players building type count. Here's a fact that I could use to maybe, for example, count the number of barracks or archery ranges, or stables, or siege workshops, etc., etc. Basically, I could use this fact here called players building count to check to see how many military buildings the opponent has put up and then adjust my strategy accordingly. So, for example, if Turtle Man sees a stable go up, it reacts to that by building more spears. But that's for the future. Right now, like I have said, Turtle Man does the same thing every game. It doesn't really react or respond to what the opponent is doing. It doesn't really care, it just blindly goes for one strat every single time. And maybe later in this match you'll get to see why this AI is named Turtle Man. It has a very simple late game strategy, and in my playtesting it seems to be somewhat successful. And we could sit here all day and complain about the Age of Empires 2 AI, like, why did it build the mill over here, right, instead of over here by the berries? Well, that's a mystery to me as well, and it is a mystery that probably will remain unsolved for the rest of time. Maybe some really smart scripter has figured out a way to optimally place their mill every time, but I'm only so smart, right? I can only handle the Age of Conquerors commands. There's like user patch commands that are far more advanced and require way more parameters to get to work right. And thankfully, this is the HD edition of Age of Empires 2, so I'm pretty limited on what user patch commands I can use. One thing I've taken note of is that the AI is actually really a powerhouse in the late game, because it can always be training military units, and it always keeps its villagers busy doing something. So you'll see that even in games where pros are playing, sometimes part of their economy goes idle because the pro player is focused on microing their army around to get the most value out of them. And that never happens with the Age of Empires 2 AI. It always has its villagers working and doing something. And even if it's got a large attack going on at the same time, it still manages its economy pretty well. At least its late game economy. The early game economy is, it's a bit all over the place. And here we see the AI has gone fishing. So that's pretty cool, right? Now, Turtle Man is choosing to implement a strat called a fast castle. And a fast castle is where you spend more time in Dark Age, less time in Feudal Age, so that you can get to Castle Age quickly. So instead of doing this feudal rushing thing, which I've had previous AIs do, I decided, you know what, let's get into the Castle Age where there's a bit more options and explore, creating an AI that can do somewhat well in the Castle Age. So that's what Turtle Man does. I think I think modern day fast castles happen around like 26 or 27 pop. I'm not familiar with the most recent build orders that people are using, but it is possible in Age of Empires 2 because you do have the population count of your civ. You can key off of that and do build orders. So, for example, most build orders, they say at population 19, maybe build a mining camp. They might say at population 27, you know, advance to the castle age, etc., etc. You'll see once my AI has researched feudal age, it shifts its economy over to gathering gold and stone, and it's heavy on the wood and heavy on the gold, so I'll let you guess at what kind of strategy Turtle Man is going to go for. So things are looking pretty good for Turtle Man. Oh, look at this. A drush, you know? Look at that. A Dark Age drush. Technically, I guess the computer's in the feudal age, so... This is the first time I've seen the opponent attack with attack with militia, so... Now, as you can see, the town center is not producing any villagers, because the idea is sometimes, depending on how much food the computer has available to it at the start of a match, so I find it's best to cut villager production in feudal age, because then the computer can stockpile a bit more food so it can advance to the castle age. So that's why you don't see the town center producing any villagers. There's a blacksmith going up, and once there's enough wood, a market should go up as well. So again, this is not the most efficient fast castle there's ever been, right? I think modern fast castlers, good players, I think they fast castle in like 22 minutes or something like that. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I could never do, even if I had direct control of this civ in this match, I could never manage to pull off like a 22-23 minute castle age. And that's just due to the fact that I don't play as much as I program, right? I'm focused on programming the logic into the script that will execute the behavior I desire. And I'm not really focused on playing the game too much. Although it is fun, sometimes I start up the AI and I just let it run for a while, and when it gets to a point where something interesting, it's supposed to do something interesting, then I take a look at what it's doing and whether or not it followed those directions. So my workflow is usually make some changes, and if those make some changes to the script, and if those script changes don't happen until later into a match... Oh, here we go, we got some more militia coming in. That's interesting, right? And as you can see, the Conqueror's AI, he goes right for the town center. Obviously, a more optimal play that the opponent can make was to take these militia and target these villagers out here, villagers here, villagers here, villagers here, right? This, my opponent, King Rupert, if all he did was sit his militia at one of these outer camps, right, then he would deny me gathering resources from that area, which would be much more effective than running right to the town center and trying to take it down, right? I mean, 5 or 6 militia versus a town center, it's a joke, right? Oh man. Now we got an archer in the mix. This is interesting. Let's see. Playing against the Teutons. As you can tell, because the archer is a ranged unit, it actually started attacking some miners out here, which is way more effective. And here we got a castle going up, an archery range, so even though even though Turtle Man has been attacked a few times before it's really built any military, it handled those attacks pretty well, actually, you know, luring the enemy military units into the town center. Now this castle foundation got placed, but I don't see anybody working on it. So we'll see what happens there. Looks like this guy here is the builder for that castle. I wonder where he came from. He must have came from far away. Oh man. What's going on here? Oh, he's building a lumber camp. Alright, so Turtle Man's in the castle age. He's beginning to produce some military units. And once we're in the castle age, the villager production resumes. This is a 1 TC fast castle age strategy. And hey, thankfully the castle's being worked on now. Future AIs I develop might go for the boom strat, where once you get to castle age, you try to put up as many town centers and just start pumping out the villagers. And then that sets you up for a really powerful Imperial Age army. But that's not what Turtle Man does. Turtle Man does the fast castle. And as you can see, the King Rupert, the opponent, is still in the feudal age. Even though King Rupert advanced to the feudal age before Turtle Man advanced to the castle age before King Rupert, because it minimized the amount of time it's spent in the feudal age. And looks like I've never seen more than a couple villagers work on a building at a time, and here's 3 of them working on this castle. I'm not sure if that has something to do with the fact that the AI, the King Rupert, attacked a little early. So maybe the AI recognizes that and puts up and realizes it needs to put up a castle a little more quickly than it might like. So maybe that's why there's these 3 builders here, but that's total speculation on my part, and that speculation is not programmed into my AI. Like I don't have any logic that says use you know, 3 or more villagers to build this castle. I just say build the castle, right? Looks like there's another castle going up. I'm not sure what map this is, but it looks like some type of rivers map. You know, there's water along the outer ring, and then there's another ring of water in the middle of the landmass. And within that ring of water is an island, so that's an interesting map. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what map type this is. Now, as you can see, it looks like the opponent actually, I didn't notice this, they built a forward barracks, and that's where those militia were coming from. And this forward barracks, I think, technically counts as in my town, and you saw the defenders react to that by going towards the forward barracks and taking it out, right? So the AI, by default, it tries to make sure that the opponent isn't building buildings in its territory, right? One of the things that can get really annoying to face is like when an opponent drops a castle just outside your base and But if you have defenders defending military units, you can stop that from happening pretty easily, right? Oh man, it looks like the siege workshop got canceled because these archers were standing on the ground it was supposed to be built on. So I'm not sure. Oh man, thank goodness. So the AI's chosen to build the siege workshop in a different area. I sort of panicked there for a second because I thought, well, if there's only... I'll show you the siege workshop logic here. Siege. Right, the only logic I have here is if it can build a siege workshop, and then disable itself. So I was sort of panicking, thinking, oh crap, the siege workshop got canceled, therefore it's not going to be built because I've only sent one or build command. But this is a good thing to learn, is that if a building gets canceled but it's still in the building queue, for example, like that just happened just now, then it will get built eventually, even if it got canceled. So it's really good information to know. You know, because otherwise it gets complicated. Like, if the siege workshop gets canceled, how would you even detect that that happened? And then how would you retroactively fix that? You know, it would be pretty messy logic, I think, if you had to program that. And oh, I'm just thankful that I don't. One of the things that I am trying to do a little better is rely more on the default behavior that's good for the for Turtle Man. So there actually is a lot of built-in default behavior that is desirable in the Age of Empires 2 AI. For example, always keeping its villagers working, right? If I click the idle villager button, the villagers aren't idle for more than like a half of a second, right? And that's throughout the entire match. And can you imagine if there was a player out there who never had any idle villagers at all in all of his matches? That would be pretty crazy, right? Well, there's no human player out there that exists that can do that, but the AI can. So that's one of the things that I understand about the AI, is that it's really, really efficient at certain things, but it just fails in other areas. And those failures in other areas, they can be taken advantage of, right? They can be exploited. And if you just accept that it's supposed to be exploited, right? You're supposed to use, if you're a human player and you're playing versus a really hardcore AI, well, you're supposed to exploit the fact that this hardcore AI is not going to navigate the early game very well, so you come up with a strategy like a feudal rush or a scout rush or something like that, and you try to disrupt the computer player's plan to get to the late game and just start booming its ass off, right? And that's, if you go on YouTube and you watch Hera, for example, or the Viper, when they play their 1v3 or 1v4 versus the extreme AI, their strategy always is to do something in the early game to really cripple an opponent in the early game, so it doesn't get on a roll later and become a huge headache. Because when you have 2 or 3 extreme AIs that are macroing as hard as hell, there's just no way you can overcome that as one player. So you gotta even the playing field by eliminating a few computer opponents early. That's what all the pros do when they face multiple opponents. Now, a question I have is, Turtle Man doesn't build a monastery, and this is a standard victory condition, so the relics are a factor at play. And I'm wondering, I'm wondering if I build a monastery and a monk will relics be collected automatically? So that's a question I have, right? Like, if Turtle Man were to build a monastery, and if Turtle Man were to build a monk, would it start collecting relics with that monk? My guess is yes. But that's only a guess, and so I'd like to confirm that at some point, whether or not my guess is correct. So maybe adding some logic. We'll do it now. I'll add it here. If the can build monastery, build monastery. Let's see. Gotta launch in administrator mode because I'm editing some files that are whatever, you know. Alright, so it looks like we have an attack coming from Turtle Man here. And we'll watch this attack closely. I'm just gonna make sure to keep futzing around here. I'll just, I'm not really in the right mind to code right now, so I'll just say monastery build logic. And for right now, I'm just going to comment this line out. So here come the archers, right? And, you know, a human player, when they move to attack, they take out things that are easy picks along the way, right? This group of archers could have easily, like, killed this guy as they walked past and then continued on with their journey, right? But the AI attack now command, the way it works is it selects a target, and so these archers are gonna walk all the way to the target and start attacking and ignore anything that is on the way to the target, right? And maybe let's see, maybe there's a strategic number or something that I can patrol towards the target, maybe? I'm not sure. Let's go to strategic numbers, and let's say patrol. SN enable patrol attack. So that's a strategic number to keep in mind. Now this is a lot of archers, but attacking a town center like this is just a dummy move. Now, thankfully, the rams are coming up behind this attack. Now, if I was a human player and I had control, you know, I had control of this force, these archers and these rams would be sticking together, and I would be sending the rams in first before the archers. But anyways, it doesn't matter how I want to play, right? This is about the AI. Looks like the AI eliminated that army pretty easily. The AI has also chosen to build more than one town center, so it's good. Probably a good thing for me to note is moderate CD AI will make more than one town center sometimes. So that's a note I can take, right? It's something, it's it's information I can use to improve the AI, right? It's like, oh, the opponent is going for economy in the Castle Age, therefore going for military is a good counter to that. Because when your opponent focuses on making economic decisions in the Castle Age, or making a decision to use its economy or to boost up its economy in the Castle Age, it's vulnerable during that period of time that it's building up its economy to an attack like this, right? And it looks like the Rams, you know, Turtle Man, his namesake is Turtle Man because, well, he builds up a train of rams, and the rams move at a turtle's pace. Once the rams arrive, the real party begins, right? I'm not sure how long it's gonna take for Turtle Man to wipe up the opponent. He's pretty dead at this point. His economy's been crippled. And there it is, the GG. So this is Turtle Man's first live win. Turtle Man has won in the past, but those were games that I just ran in the background and I didn't record any commentary over. So Turtle Man's first win versus the moderate AI. Thanks for watching, and bye.